Marie Curie, the woman who shaped modern science. It was the early 1800s, and there was a tiny Polish girl with a big imagination. She lived in a time when women were not allowed to go to school or have a career. But Maria wasn't like other girls. While other girls played with dolls, she would spend hours dissecting frogs that she got from a local butcher. This earned her the nickname Mad Scientist. And though she had to finish her education in secret, eventually she became the first woman to graduate from a French university. But this was still a man's world. When she applied to be a professor at the university, they told her, "No woman has ever been a professor here." So she and her husband set up their own lab in their home. Here they conducted experiments that changed the world. This is the story of Marie Curie, the woman who discovered radioactivity, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the only person to win it in two different sciences, physics and chemistry. As a young girl, Marie was already brilliant. Her father, a physics teacher, recognized her abilities and fostered them by giving her real lab equipment. In one famous incident, he left a glass of water out overnight and the next day asked Marie, "What do you think will happen if I put some salt in it?" She replied, "Nothing," which he proceeded to prove by doing just that. Then he left for work, leaving Marie and her sister to watch the house. But curious as ever, Marie decided to add some salt to the water anyway, just to see what would happen. It curdled. She had discovered the power of acids and bases, laying the foundation for future discoveries that would earn her a Nobel Prize. She went on to study at the Sorbonne, one of France's most prestigious universities, where she met her husband, Pierre, a fellow scientist. They married and moved to a house in the suburbs of Paris where they set up a laboratory in the basement. But it was hard work without pay. To make ends meet, Marie gave private lessons, and the couple survived on Pierre's small salary. But despite these hardships, they had 2 daughters and continued their research. One day, Marie was examining a piece of uranium ore from a mine in Saxony when she noticed it emitted an unusual amount of energy. She and Pierre set out to discover the cause. Donning protective clothing and using a rudimentary device made of a metal tube and a screen, they discovered that the energy came from a substance they dubbed radioactive. This discovery changed the world, ushering in the age of nuclear science and medicine. But the hard work took its toll on Marie's health. She suffered from radiation poisoning, a condition so rare it was unknown at the time. But Marie continued working until one day she went blind from the disease. Yet even then, she didn't stop working. Pierre helped her continue experiments by reading the instruments to her. But tragically, Pierre died in an accident, leaving Marie a widow at the height of her career. Though she was now a world-renowned scientist, she was still not welcome at the university. But this didn't stop her. She worked tirelessly, training new scientists and running a mobile X-ray unit during World War I. For over a year, she traveled to the front lines, providing medical care to soldiers and training others to do the same. In 1911, she became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize for her work in radioactivity. But she continued to push forward, making groundbreaking discoveries until her death in 1934. Today, we remember her not only as a brilliant scientist, but also as a pioneer for women in STEM. Because despite all the obstacles she faced, she never stopped believing that science was for everyone, regardless of gender. As she once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less." If you want to hear more stories of brilliant minds, stay tuned.